Can I get started? Thank you. Bye. This is my cockatoo who likes to be very loud when I'm trying to record something. Hello, everybody. So today, all right, well, I had to grab him. He was being too loud. And anywho, hello, everybody. Today, I'm going to be talking about something that is really important to me because one would think if you go to the pet store, whatever you buy is safe for your animal. This is not so. So today's video is going to be about things and toys that you can buy at the bird store or the pet store that are potentially dangerous or bad for your birds. And I will give you alternatives for those things that if you still want to purchase something like it, so I'll tell you what you probably could or should buy. So first we're going to be talking about these kind of things. Anything that has loose wool or rope on it is going to be potentially bad or dangerous for your birds. Are you leaving? Where are you going? Okay. Come here. Come here. You be a good boy. You be a good boy. Come on. Step up. Step up. Okay. So a toy that has a lot of wool on it or fiber on it can be good for those that pluck, but you have to be very careful and vigilant and pay attention. Because if you can tell, where are you going? If you can tell that your bird is eating the wool or the fibers, that can be dangerous. It can compact the crop, which means it's kind of like the crop is kind of like a sock almost that holds the food. So if it fills up with the fibers and the wool, the regular food can't really go in there anymore. The bird can't eat as much and gets no nutrition. And after a while, this gets very dangerous, and that's a surgery. A bird can die from this. So you want to avoid that. So what I recommend is something like this to buy as a toy that you can use for a bird that is a plucker. You want to use toys that are natural. So this toy is an alternative to buying anything that has wool on it or strings and stuff. If you want to be safe for those that are pluckers. I like this. This has got palm fronds or palm leaves on it, dried up, and they're all twisted up, and inside there's more paper for them to come out and shred, and little surprises, I think. And so that's a good alternative for those birds that like to pluck and you need something for them to be able to fidget around with. So this is a good alternative that is safe for your bird. Alrighty then, so next I'm going to be talking about toys that have a lot of plastic on them. I know I've used plastic in my own toys that I've made, but I've learned now, and we all learn, nobody is perfect, that it is unsafe because a few things have happened where Olivia got stuck on a toy and so on. So I just recommend trying to buy toys that do not have plastics, like this one, for example. You see that it has little plastic parts that a stronger beak will chew off, like this one. He chews them off. All right, well, I had to put away Milo and Olivia. They were just getting too rambunctious and kept screaming, so I couldn't hear myself. So I'm going to try with Cinco here and see how loud he is going to be, if he's going to be loud. Okay, so I was talking about this plastic toy and how it has metal rings that can open up and get caught in the underside of their beak, the soft pellet, and it can just, scratch them or hurt them. So better not. Or this other toy here, you can see little cheap plastic toys. You never know where they're made, if they're made like in China or something where they don't have like the controls like they have here, and they might have some toxicity or chemicals in it that is harmful for your bird. So you don't want to buy toys that have too much plastic in it. And I know I've used some plastic too, like some plastic beads, but I've stopped doing that because I've, through research, I've learned. So, because I'm not perfect, I learned too. So things you can buy instead of plastic toys, you can buy coconut fiber, you can buy the coconut itself, you can buy the husk, you can buy loofahs, leather, paper strings, yucca, which is a really soft wood, dried vines. You can buy corn husks they can use. You can buy just pine wood, that's what I use a lot. You can buy these seeds, seed pods that you can see in this picture. I forget what pod it is, but it's a seed pod. It's really soft. They chew it up. They like pine cones, yut. You can buy sola sticks, which is a really soft plant, super soft, but birds love it. Seagrass mats, paper, obviously, cardboard is something you can use. I don't know if I said I use pine wood a lot. You can use it with food coloring if you want to make it a little bit more colorful. There's so many different things you can use instead of these plastic toys. And it's much safer for your birds. So that's your alternative for that. All right, well, I'm back with Cyril and he's still here. So far, so good. Next, I'm talking about huts. These little triangular huts that a lot of people buy. These huts are only supposed to be for young baby birds, just so they feel safe, just like they would in a nest. So two things is wrong with these huts. First of all, they usually are made from a material that is easily plucked. Again, like the crop compaction with the wool toys. It has little fibers that the young bird might pluck off, and then it can again compact their crop. That's one reason why I don't like these and why these are no good. So the hut represents a nest, so it encourages egg laying or hormones and mating behavior. So you try to avoid those things. Some people obviously gonna say, well, I've had a hut for my bird their whole life and nothing. Well, yeah, of course, there's always the exception. But in general, you should try to avoid anything that's enclosed, boxes, unless you just give that to them for playing for a minute, but to permanently have in their cages, it would encourage them to try to mate with maybe that object too. Or, you know, try to make a nest if you have a female bird and start laying eggs for no reason and so on. Okay, and as an alternative, you have this seagrass mat. The material is safer. It's something they would find in the wild and they would chew on. Also, it's more open. It is still a little bit enclosed and makes them feel safe, but it's more open. It has light come in, so they don't feel as inclined to maybe try to use it as a nest, but maybe just as a chill spot, like a little spot that they like to sit in. And I don't like on the picture, I don't like the little plastic hook because those are dangerous too. So I would probably recommend you to use stainless steel quick links or any other hook, a different hook that I'll tell you about too. All right, so next I'm talking about sand perches and cement perches. Now, don't take me wrong. I like them. If you have a lot of other perches and there's one or two of the sand perches or cement perches in your cage, because they are good for the nails. The only thing I don't like, sometimes I see online that people, first of all, some people buy the like super rough ones, and then they have the wrong bird that goes with it. You can't buy the super rough ones and have a teeny tiny dainty bird that is gonna rub their feet open. Like this guy's got calluses on his feet. It's not as bad. I mean, he can handle it and it would be good for him. There's good ones that have, for example, like this second picture, these ones, or kind of like these ones, they have a smooth part on the top and then the rough parts on the bottom. So when the bird sits on it, the nails get filed by moving around, but then the underside of the foot doesn't get rubbed open raw. So I do like to have one or two in my birds' cages, but there's some people unfortunately only give their bird one or two perches already to begin with, which is very sad because they should have lots of perches. But if it's only the only perch in the cage, then it's absolutely a no. You cannot have the bird just sit on a sand perch or on a cement perch as their only resting spot. It has to be natural wood or something else, because their feet will open up. Yeah. So here's the alternative, of course, natural perches. Make sure you check the list of non-toxic trees if you make your own. If you buy them at the store, they usually are bird safe. It also has to do with, do not use dowels, wooden dowels that you can buy. It looks so convenient, I know, and the price is better, but it's an even surface in nature that doesn't exist. That's why it has to be made by man into a dowel. So their feet have the same position all the time. So they will develop something called bumblefoot underneath. It's swelling, because if you, like for example, you're sitting in a chair, in the same chair your whole life, you can't do that. You would start getting sores and stuff, right? Same thing. So they need branches that are a little bit wider, a little lower, so that way they're a little wider, little wider, little smaller, up and down. Just, it's for their feet, to exercise the feet and make sure that their feet don't get bumblefoot or sores on them, right? So it's kind of like you sitting on a couch for a moment, you're sitting on a chair, then you're sitting on, what are you doing? What are you doing, buddy? And then you'll sit on a stool, and then you'll sit on a bench, right? So yeah, your butt doesn't start hurting. But if you sat on this wooden chair, uncomfortable wooden chair, for hours and hours, and days, your butt would start hurting. So you're really excited. Why are you so excited? Ow, that hurts. Don't do that. No, buddy. Whew. Looks like Ciro's getting a little ornery too. What is going on? Did I put something in that tea this morning? I don't know, Ciro. Buddy, what's going on? Whew. All right, well, I had to put Ciro away now too, because he was getting nippy. He got me on the finger a little bit. So anyway, so next we're talking about cages. First of all, there's nothing wrong with buying a round cage. It's a myth. I researched it, that obviously the bird would prefer corners because it can climb up better. It's an easier cage for them to use, but a round cage is not messing with their head like a lot of people think. I mean, in nature, it's open wide and they don't know corners around. But the thing with round cages is that mostly the bars, they come together on the top. So on the top, if you look at it, you see these really tight spots where their feet can get caught. And then if you're not there to see it, they can get foot amputations and so on. So it's dangerous for your bird to have the round cages if you have that wrong design, where on the top it gets real small and smaller and smaller and then real tight. So there are round cages that are not like that. So you'd have to just make sure, if you insist on having a round cage, that it's built right. So here's an example for what a round cage that is not good it looks like, even though it does have that little plastic dome on the top, which covers the tightest spots. So people, at least the manufacturers, have gotten smart enough already for that, to cover that. But even if you look on the picture, the bar spacing is still way too small for a toe to get caught and not be able to release it, because they don't know to just slide back the other way. Sometimes they might get lucky and do it, but so I would not recommend a cage like this. If you want to go with a round cage, do a cage like this. As you can see, the bar spacing is much wider. It is semi-round on the top, so it kind of flattens out. That way, the bar spacing can be bigger, and no toe will get caught. So if you do want to go with a round cage because that's what you want, then you would need to go with the second option. that is much safer for your bird. Also, obviously, instead of a round cage, go with a regular square cage and make sure it is square or rectangular, of course, and make sure it goes with the size of your bird. Make sure it is big enough for the bird, especially if you have those little birds, that you should get a flight cage, which is rather wider than it is higher. So that way they can fly, because height really is not as important, but width is much more important for birds, so they can fly back and forth. So that it brings me to my next subject. Size of the cages. So obviously this picture is a dramatization. Obviously, you would hope nobody has a small bird in a tiny cage like this, but obviously you do not ever want to buy a cage that is way too small. For example, this is an example of a cage that I feel personally it's much too small for a cockatoo. That cage is maybe okay for for cockatiels and a smaller parrot, but not for a cockatoo or anything bigger. So in my eyes, this one is too small. The next one, this is a picture of a macaw that I found online that I also feel is too small for the macaw. As you can see, his tail almost touches the bottom. And if he were to open his wings, he would probably not be able to open his wings all the way. And that is really one of the criterias for the size of a cage, that a bird should be able to open his wings fully and flap its wings comfortably. And that's at least how wide it has to be. And obviously none of its body should touch the top or the bottom. So in my eyes, this corner cage for this macaw is too small. This cage is a good example of what I feel is an okay size for a small budgie. I would obviously add more toys, but this is a good size for a budgie. Then next you see an example for a really good size for a macaw. This is probably approximately the size that I have for my macaw. And this bird can walk around, open its wings, swing around, and be comfortable in its cage. And then next here I have a picture of a cage that has a cockatoo in it. It only has one perch. Obviously, this is just a stock picture I find online, but the size, just looking at the size of the cage. This is a good size cage for a cockatoo. Okay, the next thing I'm talking about is bells. Most birds love bells, so I do not want to deprive them of it, and they love it. So I just have to make sure I buy the right kind of bell. So the bell that you can see here, these teeny tiny ones with these little tiny openings and the rings on them, absolutely not okay, because their toes can get caught in it, their beak gets caught in it. I've seen pictures where they get caught underneath. They have to go to the vet to remove it. So it's a soft metal, so the bigger bird can smush it and then they really get their beak stuck on it. So just don't get that kind of bell. They don't last long anyway. So just invest in the right one. For example, this one is a good bell, and they have them bigger too. It's a long bell, so the little toggle that's in the middle can't be reached by the bird, because a lot of times what birds like to do is take the bell and then bite off the little you know what I mean, the little thing in the middle. And I have so many bells before I knew this that are just twisted off by the birds. And so this one is long, so the bird can't get to it. Or if you don't want to get one of those, then get at least one of those like cowbells. They're really sturdy. They're very strong and made from good material. So I would recommend getting those kind of bells instead of the little tiny ones. Okay, now I'm talking about hooks. This is very important for you to hear, because a lot of people don't know this and have to learn the hard way. If you buy these carabiners like this, or these S-hooks like this, it's very dangerous for your bird, because the carabiners, birds will play with them and then they will open them up because they can push them, and then they'll get their beak caught in it. And very often I see this in the soft pellet part underneath the beak. I have a video on this, what the soft pellet is and what it looks like and so on, if you want to look for that. The S hook, obviously, again, they get caught on it and it's very dangerous. So the best thing to do is just get one of those quick links that has the little screw on part, and the better ones are even the ones that have a little spring in it. So when you unscrew them, you have to push down at the same time. So if the bird is playing with it, they might unscrew it, but they can't at the same time push and screw and open it. I mean, my birds are pretty good. I mean, they have also undone those. So that's why I have had bought, and I couldn't find a picture of it. Oh wait, let me show you. I'll grab it real quick, hold on. Okay, so this is what it is. This is what I have, because my birds are big. So no bird can actually put their beak around this and twist on it, because that's how you undo them. You twist on them and they close real tight like this, so there's no danger for them to get their beaks caught in here. These are priceless, really, especially if you have big birds. So far, none of my birds have been able to unscrew these, but any other ones, I see them on the floor all the time. Same with when you have chains, when you buy chains, I always buy stainless steel. Of course, you can buy stainless steel at Home Depot, not even all that expensive. They only have the bigger links, so usually that's probably only better for the big birds, but hey, you know, so because the little chains, my big birds snap them. I know, metal, they will snap metal chains. Okay, so and now the last thing I want to talk about is mirrors. While there's lots of mirrors you can buy at pet places, and guilty, I've had it too before, not an actual mirror, but I have those metal ones that are reflective. Just encourage playfulness, but I have had to learn that mirrors are actually psychologically damaging to some birds. Again, not all birds, there's always going to be that one person, but my bird had a mirror their whole life. I'm talking in general, as always. Yes, birds are smart, very smart, and maybe they do recognize themselves in the mirror, but some might not. So what they see is a partner. They think they're seeing a partner. So they will get obsessed with the mirror. They will protect that mirror. They will try to feed that mirror. They try to mate with the mirror. And if you try to take the mirror out, they're gonna get depressed, because here now you took the partner away, and so on. So it is very dangerous. Their hormones go up. Actually, I mean, and if you buy the wrong kind of mirror too, it's dangerous physically too, because if they bite on it, it could split and they can cut themselves and so on. So my personal recommendations is no mirrors. Yeah, no really reflective surface in a cage if you can. It's just because they will get super hormonal, especially in hormone season, and it's just psychologically very damaging to them. Now, of course, you do what you want to do. These are my personal recommendations, and I hope you learned something. I hope I was able to help. And if you have any of these items at home, I hope you might consider changing them or doing something different, just for the safety of your birds. If you liked what I do, if you like my video and you want to learn more, I'm always putting out more videos. Please please hit the notification bell, and please subscribe, and then I will see you in my next video. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Bye.